Hi again everybody, and welcome to the Games Pantry once again for another video on my channel. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in. As always, if you are here for the very first time, thank you very much indeed for stumbling across my humble little corner of the internet, and I hope you enjoy the content. If you do, feel free to like, subscribe, comment and tick that bell for further videos. And if you are back again, what can I say? Thank you very much indeed for retuning in and not going elsewhere. And a very, very quick mention of it, a couple of people pointed out after my last video I've gone past 200 subscribers, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So yeah, thank you very much indeed for everybody, especially those who've been with me since the early days. But also for everybody who's just simply had the time to subscribe to the videos, to the channel, like the videos, left comments, communicated back and forth, and are still with me today. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you. I'm not going to draw much more about that one. I just want to point out this week's Chef's Choice, which is Rayman 2, The Great Escape on the N64. I don't have a box to show you because it's an unboxed game. I don't mind the old Rayman series, to be honest. I think they're very, very cute, beautiful looking games, but they are an acquired taste. However, I do have a real sort of affinity to the last couple of titles which came out, which was the Legends Edition on the Switch, and also the Origins version on the Wii, which is one of the most beautiful looking games on that system, and I've said it a number of times now. So Rayman 2 running in the background. I'd also like to point out, you know, have a quick look at this as well. This is a absolutely brilliant gift which Mrs. B brought back from a shopping trip a few weeks ago. It's the first time I've actually used it. It's an official PlayStation 1 mug. Let's show you the back of it as well. You've got the symbols there for the buttons on the control pad. Note the wonderful handle design. Isn't that brilliant? I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. These are available from a well-known high street retailer who specialises in sort of stuff like this. It is an officially licensed product as well. It's an official PlayStation item. It holds a humongous amount of coffee, which is brilliant. So if I get really wired by the end of this episode, you know why I'm drinking the equivalent of a gallon of coffee. And it tastes pretty good as well. The interesting thing about one of these mugs you can't use in the microwave, you can't put in the dishwasher. And it's really sort of nice ceramic sound to it when you do that. So absolutely wonderful. I wonder at some point is that handle actually going to fall off. That could be quite interesting. We'll have to wait and see on that one anyway. But wow, isn't that brilliant? So there we go. Okie dokie, right. Well lubricated, if you pardon the expression. This video is going to be all about what happened this past weekend at the Birmingham Gaming Market. I'm going to try and move that for a second. There we go. Which I believe was the first event they've run in Birmingham. And follows on from the London, the Manchester, the Norwich one. Norwich got a gaming market before Birmingham did. And there's Bristol later on this year, I think. And there's London coming up, which I've just mentioned in a couple of weeks' time. They do 3 down there a year. Doncaster, of course, as well. So I sort of mentioned a couple of 3 weeks I'm going to be going to go to that. That was on this Saturday just gone, which was the 6th of July. And it was a lot less warm than Doncaster was, from what I'm led to believe. This was held in an area of Birmingham which, if you went back sort of 20 years ago, that's probably the last place you'd hold an event like that. I haven't been to Birmingham I mean, I don't live very far from there, but I mean, I haven't been to Birmingham since I was working over that way, which was about 5 years ago. So I was a bit sort of, ooh, how do I get there sort of thing, but it's dead easy. Birmingham has 3 train stations going in, and this was the one train station right by it called Moore Street, and it's literally a 5-minute walk from there. Come out of the train station, turn left, and keep going, and then you see the huge throng of people queuing to get in. Absolutely brilliant. There were 2 ways of getting in there, which was the £4 early bird entry and the £2 normal admission an hour later. Being the cheapskate that I am, obviously general admission at for £2. So again, you can't complain for the cost of getting to one of these places. I was a bit sort of umming and ahhing about it, especially because there were a number of people. I'm just going to move that a little bit. There we go. A number of people I was going to be meeting there who said they were going to be there anyway. And having this sort of never really met anybody from YouTube before, this was sort of rather a big thing to do. And I'll mention him again because I tend to drop his name in. But Pete Fighter put a video up yesterday, I think it was, and he was sort of saying the same thing about before he went to Doncaster. felt very sort of nervous. I felt the same thing going in on the train, because Birmingham has a thing where you can't take cars in over a certain age, or, you know, they have to have a bloke with a red flag walking in front of them before they go in. So it was much cheaper to actually go in by a £5 return from where I am to get in there and back out again, which was brilliant. So, and it would have been much cheaper than driving into Birmingham, even if they hadn't got a stupid car emission restriction on whatever you're driving. You know, mad. Cut down the amount of buses are in Birmingham, that would probably solve half the problem. But no, I'm not in charge of Birmingham City Council, and obviously there would be a lot of different changes. So this event was held at the south and central campus of Birmingham College, I think it is, Digbeth, which is the area. It was a big coach station directly opposite, which used to be a horrible place to go to. I remember coming back from university 20 years ago and trying to walk out of there in week before Christmas in the dark. Yep, you don't want to be doing that, believe me. That was not a nice journey. It looks a little better than it used to. The college building is very nice, new build and everything like that, lovely. Strange choice of venue, I have to say. I think it suffered from the fact there were just too many people. Obviously, when I got there, it was 12 o'clock. We're trying to get in after that, with everybody else who's still there on the early bird. There were a lot of people all of a sudden just entered this really sort of small area, and it got very warm very quickly. I hadn't put a coat, and I sort of take the tracksuit top to stick over my t-shirt, and it was just too warm in there. It really was. I literally did 40 minutes and came straight out again to guzzle down a Lucozade Sport and get some air, because it was just way too warm in there. It was actually two areas. There was one area which was the auditorium, and that had like air conditioning in there. Well, interesting, I'll tell you about that more in a minute. But the other side of it, where some of the other guys were, there was no air conditioning whatsoever. They had to open the big doors to the outside and try and get some air in it. It was absolutely uncomfortable. And where the venue was, again, the auditorium was fine. It's not a big auditorium. It's like a giant square, and there were people around the outside, and there was a little square in the middle. But the other part of it, which was ran round the outside, was actually held in the canteen. That sounds really weird, doesn't it? It was weird, because there was... it's like a social... I suppose a social eating enjoyment area. Bizarre place to hold a gaming event, I must be honest with you. And there probably were too many people in there, which would probably... for being safe, really. I've got to be honest, but I think there had been a fire in there. There had been a few problems. But it was all right, you know. I'm not complaining about it. It just didn't make for a very enjoyable experience as a shopper. I use the word shopper because that's technically what you were doing that day. You were buying all, that was it. It was, yeah, you didn't have time to sort of, you know, get in there and, you know, pick up stuff on the floor. You couldn't sort of just bend down. So I think 95% of us had rucksacks, which probably didn't help either. You couldn't sort of bend down because you'd be blocking an aisle off. There were people in there with push chairs. Push chairs. I mean, okay, that's fine, all well and good, but push chairs? You've got to have a bigger venue for something like that. So I think they need to think the venue. It wasn't bad, but the amount of people that were there, I understand from a couple of videos I've seen already, there was a big queue before 11 o'clock to get in. And then when I got there about 11:45, we were already snaking up round the corner again. So having said that, once sort of like 2:15, 2:20 came when I left, you could swing a cat in there quite comfortably. You could swing a couple. In fact, you ask one cat to put its tail in the mouth of the other one, you get a decent swing on it. But anyway, by the by, cat swinging like. The big point of the whole thing for me was going along and meeting a handful of YouTubers who said they would be there. I did get some stuff, which I will come to showing you. But it was very much sort of me to actually go and sort of, I can't say put faces in names because you see people's faces, or in one person's case, you don't always see his face. But you know, voices and things like that. So it's actually sort of going along and meeting people and sort of like, actually, yeah, I am real. I am not a, you know, Jim Henson's last wish. I do exist. So going along there, I knew a number of people going on. First person I bumped into was Dainster, and I believe his mate Liam. I only say that because I didn't get his name on the day, but I know that from what people were talking about beforehand. Dainster lives pretty close to me. He mentioned he was going to be there selling. He's going to bring his bargain buckets along for me to, not for me especially to go through, but, you know, mention, oh, I'll have some bargain stuff for you, don't worry about that. So bumped into them first, walking round. Big handshake, you know. I like, you know, I do like sort of introducing, when I see people the first time, big handshake, how you doing, and that was great. They were in the auditorium section, which was really funny because it was warm to start with, and then apparently they turned the air conditioning on, and they were right by the air conditioning units. Apparently by about, when I got there, about 12 o'clock, they were frozen solid. It was quite funny to see that, but that was great. Further on round from there, I then bumped into Stu, Tooty UK, who got something for me, which I'll show you in a minute. Great to meet Stu. What a great guy he is. Everybody says exactly the same. Everybody says it. What a great guy he is. So I had a quick word. He's obviously right in the middle of the sort of 12 o'clock rush, so I couldn't have too much of a chat with him. Moved on from there, walked round again. Saw a couple of YouTubers whose channel I've seen before, but didn't communicate. I think that's because there's one guy now who's fairly local to me, and I know he's local because he's done one of the local independent game shops around here. Can't remember the name of his channel. Retro Break, I think it is. But I've tried again put a couple of comments in his videos, but I've had no sort of communicating back. But he was there doing some filming. There was a lady who subscribed to me a couple of weeks ago called Angela Goth Queen. She was there. She put a quick video up as well. There was another guy's videos found. I can't remember the name of it now. Just recently subscribed to his channel, but he was there as well. So it's about 3 or 4 people I sort of recognise knocking out. I'm pretty sure as well. One of the guys selling was as a car booter, or used to do car boot stuff years and years ago. Rich King Retro, I think. I'm not sure if it is him or not. It looked very, very like him anyway. But he hadn't done any posting for ages, and apparently it looks like he's selling stuff now. So he was there, so I saw that. So I did all that journey out, came out, ducked out, grabbed a drink, and then went back in again and started buying stuff. And as you sort of go through these events, it's much easier to sort of move around, and it's very easy to get into places because it starts to thin out. The people who've been there for the first thing. I mean, the money flying around this place, absolutely incredible. I mean, I saw people. So it sounds like I'm a bitter old man who's made very bad choices in his life and his career, but there were kids there, not kids there, there were young adults there with wad loads of cash. That makes me sound old. Bucketfuls, just pulling notes out and going, it's like, whoa, more money than I spend there in 6 months worth of game collecting. Mind you, they're probably buying the good stuff, I just buy the crap. But yeah, it was really something to see. The amount of money going around was unbelievable. I got sort of contrasting opinions from people who were selling, yeah, I've had a good day, no, it's not as good as Doncaster, so we'll have to see how people have turned out. And I hope if you did have a good day selling there, you had a good day and did really well. Anyway, let's get on to some pickups. So I went back to Danester's store because he said he got some PlayStation 2 stuff, which I was having a look through. Interesting thing about this, I'll take that, add that back. I was going to sort of limit myself. I didn't take I know some guys took big, decent sized funds to Doncaster with him. I took 30 quid. I took 25. I took 30 quid with me, and it cost me 5 quid to get there and a couple of quid for a drink and some chewing gum going around. So. But I didn't have the intention of going out there and spending. Again, you've got to try and sort of. If you've got a budget to stick to, you stick to your budget. That's what you do. So that's what I did, and it's very, very difficult in these sort of things to work out how where the goods, where the cheap stuff is, where the stuff people are selling is quite cheap. Because I think everybody sort of barges in there and they want go straight to the Japanese stuff, or they go straight to the handheld stuff, or they go straight for the games priced like 200-300 quid. Which is like, woohoo, amazing stuff. It's good to see things like that, and don't get me wrong, I actually held some of them. But I had to put them back afterwards. So, you have to really and if you can't look at stuff and spend time looking at it, you can't see it. And again, where people sort of put their stuff out on display, games with the spines running down, you have to literally, on about 70% of everybody, still pull the game out to see what it is. Now, I've always said before, I tend to buy games on how crap does the cover look, how crap does the game sound, and I've never heard of that one before. And I was pulling games out I've never heard of before, but of course I didn't realise that these were all sort of like Japanese RPGs and all sorts, and other games I've never heard of, which were just like so far out of it. I thought, well, this is no good to me, sort of thing. Some people did put the price on the spine, which was great, but some people didn't, and that made it more difficult, so you had to spend more time being selective, which sort of slows the whole thing down, really. So you need time to spend it, but you aren't going to get time. It's like Dunkirk. You have a space there, you hold on to it, and that is it. If you get in there close enough, you have to stand there. And people are either going left and right, they're either going up and down, up and down, up and down. You're never quite sure which way to go. As soon as you come out there, bang, someone straight in, you've gone. So you have to sort of wait. So either you go along at 2 o'clock when everything's good's gone, or, you know, it's really, really quiet, or everything might be a bit cheaper, I don't know. Or you just go along first thing and you know, sort of barge in there and see how you get on. So, yeah, back to Dainster store then, and thank you very much. And, yeah, Dainster, yeah. And got some games out of it. These were all priced, I think he was doing £2 each. You know, doing 2 for a £5, or 5 for a £10. And these are the 5 that I picked up that I thought I could realistically think, I've had a good day with these. There were some other ones there I could have done so, and if you have any of those, you know, more interesting titles left, Dainster, let me know, because I'll be interested in picking into. He actually said to me, he said, oh, he ain't got any Wii games. I haven't got any Wii games. I said, oh, that's all right, don't worry about that. And he mentioned to Liam, he said, oh, he's got about 600 Wii games. I'm like, wow, yeah. I said, one day, those games were worth something. The bloke stood next to me, and he sort of looked at me and said, no, mate, no, they won't. Well, maybe they will be. And it'll be on my gravestone. I thought they would be worth more by now, sort of thing. Anyway. Not buying them as an investment. I buy them as, 1, cheap insulation, and 2, there may be an investment there in the future, and 3, I like games. Anyway, so the first one I got from here, Dainster, was Spy Hunter Nowhere to Run, which I think is based on a film, which I believe I may have turned off after about half an hour or so, because it was so boring. Now, I didn't realise until I got home there was actually a bit of a Brucey bonus now. We all love a bit of a Brucey bonus, don't we? Yeah, there's a memory card in this one. So, a bit of a look on that. I'm not sure if it works on it. Last time I found a memory card in a PlayStation 2 game, it didn't work. So, we'll have to see on that one. So, yeah, that was one game there. Let's drop those down there, thank you. Second one, because I'm a bit of a sucker for Looney Tunes, this is Looney Tunes Back in Action. It's based on the film, which didn't really do anything for anybody. There's the inside of it for you. Watched a few videos for this. It looks like very much a generic platform, which I'm probably going to get bored with very, very quickly. But it does say fantastic bonus content, including Looney Tunes cartoons, which is always a bonus. I love the old Looney Tunes. Next one, I only bought this one because of the title. How do you walk past a game called Krusty Demons? Now, I didn't realise until I got home, and some people are going to be a bit more clued up on this sort of thing than me. Maybe you won't, but you might be learning something like I am for the first time. But apparently Krusty Demons are a ride with the Krusty Demons of Dirt, world famous extreme riding stunt team. So they're like sort of like the Nitro Circus guys who do the same sort of thing. Names such as, I can't even read that, Seth Enslow, Jeremy Twitch Stenberg, Ronnie Feist, Kenny the Cowboy Bartram, and Dan Pastor. If I've pronounced any of those wrong properly, I'm not sorry at all. But yeah, constrain strong bloody violence and real life dangerous stunts. So yeah, that could be quite interesting. So that was number 3. Number 4, which I picked up purely because I noticed the developer's name on the bottom. This one is Stunt GP. And you'll just probably not see there's that horrible Titus the Fox emblem, which kind of means it could possibly be a load of shite. But there's also next to it Team 17, which if you're an Amiga owner or Amiga fan from back in the day, games such as Assassin and Super Frog and Project X and was it Body Blows? Fighting one they did, and of course the Alien Breed series. So I bought it purely on the basis of that. Apparently there's also a Dreamcast version of this as well, which goes for about £5 nowadays. So pick that one up for that one because I know it. And also I picked this up on the GameCube a couple of weeks ago, which you may remember, and this is the Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the PlayStation 2, which I was chuffed to pick up. All complete on the inside. All these were complete. There were a couple of games I did leave behind because I didn't have the manuals. I was still being selective when I was still there enjoying myself with all those games. And pack of there. So those 5 games there from Dainster. Once again, thank you very much, my friend. I do hope it's not the last time we bump into each other. And like I said, you get anything else like that, you know, or any more of those left over, you got a cheap sale fairly locally. 5 for a tenner, can't go wrong with that. Move around to next table. There's a guy doing games for £1 and some a bit more than that. There was very little Wii stuff there. I was so surprised. The only Wii games that were there were sort of the ones that I got, the cheap ones, or the ones that I got, which were the more expensive ones, or the ones that I didn't want that the more expensive ones, like the Pokemon titles. I was hoping to see sort of like things like a Shadow's Tale and Last Story. There was one copy of Pandora's Tower which I didn't get to sort of pick up and see how much it was. That probably wasn't the right day for doing that one. I know I'm going to get it at some point, but that was probably the most expensive title I saw for the wheel day. Very, very little stuff there at all. I did pick up one game which was Monster 4x4 Stunt Racer. Interesting fact about this game, it currently retails for £2.50 in CEX, but there's a version with the wheel which is available for 50p. I'm not quite sure. No manual with that one. It's a little disappointing. But I think it's one of these cheap sort of titles that comes out of there. It's compatible with the Wii wheel. So that was a quid. And also a PlayStation 1 game. Bit of a damage on the box on this one, which is Davis Cup Complete Tennis. You can just probably not see there's a little crack on the cover on the front here. There's also a bit missing out the bottom there as well. Can you see that there? There's a bit missing anyway. It's not fully done, but everything inside is complete. The disc has been through the walls by the looks of it, but hopefully it'll work anyway. But that was a quid as well. Like I said, PlayStation 1 games, if you see them for a quid, pick them up. You know, it's worth it. And again, if you look hard enough, you might be able to get a replacement case for it. I've got some cases up there I might be able to swap this one out with. But that was a quid as well. Then moved on to a sort of Mega Drive stuff. And I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford anything from there. Can I have those? Thank you. Thank you. I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to afford this Mega Drive stuff. And surprise, surprise, I wasn't able to afford most of it. But there were some that, you would expect a different answer there, but there was some I was able to pick up, and incredibly cheap. I couldn't quite believe how cheap they were. There's a couple of slight issues with them, in the fact that they've lost the hanger off the top of them. But surprisingly, they're in complete condition. First one up is Kawasaki Superbikes, which I've never heard of before. It has actually got the Sega. I'm not sure whether this is the original box. I've got to think this is actually a repositioned box. It has got the manual inside. It was sort of sealed up in one of these self-sealing things that people look to do, and it got a thing with the manual on front, which had done. I'm pretty sure that that's a different cart box for this one, because I don't think that cart box fits. It looks like it's an old EA thing, but I'm pretty sure it has the old EA logo in there. So I'm not sure about that. I could be wrong. I could be talking about a crap, but there we go. Quick look at the back. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, was £1, which, apart from missing the hanger off the top of there, is completely complete for a quid. Yeah, a little miss out the box there, but I'm not going to lose sleep over that. So that was a quid. That's not bad, is it, really? Mega Drive game for a quid. Oh. And then at the same stall, looking through them again, I found another game, which is the M1 Abraham's Battle Tank. I remember last week I had a video up of the LHX attack chopper. So I've been working my way through the armed forces at the moment, if that's not too bold a statement to make and sound like it's something completely different. I should be adding the words "oh matron" probably after that one. Which makes me wonder why I said that box might not be the official one. This is the inside of this one. It has got the manual, but someone's actually clipped the tabs off where it holds the manual in place, top and bottom. They clipped the tabs off. I don't know why they've done that. They're flopping open. Oh matron. And then moving on to the back of the box. I mean, it's fairly sort of, you know, late 80s, early 90s 3D technology. But that was £2. Again, the hanger's missing off the top of it. But the box is pretty good on that one. And it's got that. I love the old Mega Drive covers. I really do. Much better. That blue one there obviously shows it's a much later release. You know, these ones with the squares in the background, which with the extension of the old Master System ones. The Master System ones were white, these went into black. Absolutely brilliant. Best boxes ever made, known to man. So that was £2. So 2 Mega Drive games for £3, boxed and complete. Well, you'll do a lot better than that, won't you? And then a little further around the corner, found another seller doing some Xbox games, and yeah, this was interesting because I picked up this version of this game on the Xbox 360 a couple of weeks ago from the game sale, and this is Thief, Deadly Shadows. I didn't know the game by name, in the fact it was called Thief. All complete on the inside, very, very nice looking copy, and this was £2. It's a bit more than I spend on Xbox games, but I hadn't seen this one before, so I thought, well, treat yourself to that one. So I've still got, where is it? Ooh, it's over here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. And that's this giant pile of games behind me. Still hasn't moved. Don't worry about that. There's a plan for that one. That was the one I got on the 360 a couple of weeks ago. And that's it. That's the Xbox one there. So I don't know whether they're different games or whether this is that one's a remake of the other one. I don't know. That's got to go on there now because I've got no space for it. Yeah, so there we go. So that was £2 on that one. Now, as I said, walking through, I mentioned a bump into Stu, 2 UK earlier on. Right on where he was, next to him was his mate Rob. Rob was very, very, very gracious to come over and shake my hand and say, I haven't got my channel, but I watch yours and it's really good. So, Rob, if you are watching this, thank you very much indeed for your kind words, and thank you for the can of Sprite as well, which was most appreciated because it was very warm at that point. And I was talking, I got there, and Liam from Dainster's store, again, Liam, I hope it is you, was sort of talking to this seller. He said, oh, how you done today? Oh, I've been selling this. Oh, we sold loads of PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 stuff. Yeah, Dave, you're doing 2 for 5 and 5 for 10. And I sort of said, yeah, it's people like me keep coming along and buying it. And he sort of looked at me and said, yeah. He said, he had 5 of them for a tenner. And the bloke behind the counter sort of said something. I thought, I know who you are. And he said, no, I don't watch you, mate. No. And of course, he's having me on, pulling my leg. I didn't quite fall for it. I now thought, you're too distinctive of a voice, my friend. It was the legend to his old school variety face. And what a pleasure. What an absolute pleasure it was to meet you. It was absolute. I think we probably stood around talking for about 45 minutes while he was trying to sell. I probably cost him about 50 quid's worth in sales. Which is all the more silly when you actually see what I bought off him. But no, it was an absolute delight to stand there and talk as if, again, going back to something that Pete Fighter said in his last video yesterday, you feel like you've known people for ages, and within sort of moments of talking to all of them, you know, Dainster and Stu and Pete and Rob, you just feel that you know all these people really, really well. And we were just talking about stuff. We weren't just talking about games, we were talking about other things as well. And I think we got on really, really well. So what a top bloke he is. You know, he's very much to the point that say, you know, people like my videos, some people don't like my videos. For me, you know, I love his videos. I think he's got a fantastic sense of humour. He's really, really creative, and he's just a really, really funny guy. And he's like that in person. You know, the great thing about it, as I said to him when I bought a game off him, I said, you know, my persona is you know, it's not a persona. You know, it's not a character. I am who I am, and that's it. And I think he's very much the same. And it was just an absolute thrill to stand there and talk stuff. So absolutely brilliant stuff. Old school, you are a legend. I did say that at the time, and I will say it again. And there's your shout out, which I promised you as well. I did buy a game off his stall after sort of taking up way too much of his time. And you know, as I said, it's not a persona, it's me, I am. Being it's his stall, it's the cheapest thing I could find. So I bought Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets off the GameCube. Off the GameCube? On the GameCube. The great thing about Old School's table was he had prices down the sponsor taken off here, but he actually put on there whether it's got manuals or not, which was a really good thing to do. Only person apart from that Mega Drive seller who I saw doing that, to save you sort of stand there opening things up and inspecting things, he actually put on the side what the price was and whether the manual was included or not, which I thought was a fantastic idea. It would save so much time doing that. He did actually mention there was no manual on this one, which is absolutely fine. I'm not so bothered about that. I'm not really a big Harry Potter fan, but again, £2 for a GameCube game, you can't go wrong with that. That was great. I should also mention as well, once again, Pete, thanks very much. I will mention again, I did actually sort of, going back to backtrack, I missed somebody out there. Jay, Cybersnake 7 was there as well with Craig. And I spoke to Dainster, he said, oh, I bought this, he showed me something, he bought a Famicom with 3 games, brilliantly conditioned box from Jay's store, which was just over the way. And this was at one point quite funny, because I thought Dainster meant in the corner, sort of behind where he was standing. So I sort of turned around and started walking and looking through here, and I could all of a sudden I had this bloke, this voice behind the table going, "That's Retro Bear, isn't it?" And I sort of looked up and I said, "Yes, it is," and it was Jay. And what a pleasure it was to meet you. Again, doesn't live too far away from me as well, which is even better. So introduced me to Craig as well, and he seemed to be doing really, really well. And I did say I was going to come back and get something off you. I'm really sorry, my friend. I just completely ran out of cash. If you have got anything that's going cheap, I'll happily buy it off you to make up for it. I'm really, really sorry about that. I was meant to come back and have something off you, because I was trying to buy something off people I knew as well as whether just other tables, and you know, the least I can do is at least buy something from you if you've taken all that trouble to get there. Obviously it won't be very much, but it'll be something. So again, great pleasure to meet you both as well. Hope it's not the last time we do that as well. And like I said, next time I'm buying something, that might be buy 2 things, because that's the least thing I can do. So after Jay and then after Old School, then moved on to back to Stu, to UK, who when I got there, he said he messaged me before to say, I've got something for you, which I'm never quite sure how to take. But then he did say, when I got there, he said, oh Russ, he said, great, you're here. He said, here, have this. And then he watched the video of mine a couple of weeks ago when I bought something which was not the complete version, and he said, there you go, and he bought me that, which is your shape. I bought the game which came without the camera, so he very, very kindly bought me this. He said, there you go. What an absolute star he is to pick that up. It's interesting. It's got one of these exclusive motion tracking cameras, the idea to sort of go there, which is basically a fat cam. It scans your body and detects your movements. You are wobbling too much, things like that. As I said to Old School, he said, are you going to play it? I said, no, I'm not going to play it. I'm going to stick it on the shelf. But it's a really, really, really good condition. Stu, thank you so much indeed for that. You see, things like this will not mean an awful lot to a lot of people. To me, this is fantastic. It's just like, wow, brilliant. I'm just so thrilled to get it. So thank you very much indeed. I obviously went back, had a quick chat with Stu as well. Really nice to meet him. What a great guy he is. Does so much good stuff for the community. He's incredible. The second thing he's given me. So generous as well. I bought something from his stall as well. He did actually sort of say to me, he said, I was looking through some of his GameCube stuff. He said, oh, you've picked up the most expensive game there, which I think was the Namco Namco Museum 50th Anniversary Edition or something, which he was selling for 40 quid. Yes, I am. For some reason, I always pull out. I can guarantee, if you've got a list of games there that aren't priced up, I can guarantee I'm going to pull out the most expensive one. I mean, I'll do that with everything. How much is that? Oh, yeah, £500. Now I'll put that back. So he's priced at 40 quid. Yeah, I had packed the most expensive one up yet. In a different lifetime, Stu, I'd have bought it. But anyway, I did manage to buy a game, and I bought a game for the Saturn. Wow, I don't buy many Saturn games. In fact, I think I bought a Saturn game since I had my Saturn 9 years ago. I know I've been dissing the Saturn on my comments thing. I just don't like the bloody machine. Sorry, I don't. But Stu did have a game for sale, and I don't usually buy sports games either, but I felt this was probably something to do. And this is World Series Baseball, because I do like baseball, like the old baseball games. It's got the angler on top of there as well. Again, I had a bit of a look online about it. It may actually inspire me to get me Saturn out and play it. No manual inside this one. The disc is there as well. And Stu, again, the generosity of the man. It was priced up at 3 quid. He'd only take 2 for it. What a star. So once again, my friend, thank you so much indeed for that. And that was all I had. I managed to buy 12 games for just over, I think 21 quid, I think it was. So yeah, that was a good day out, and I was there for a couple of hours. I got there about 11:45. I left there about 2:15. So it was a good day out. I think if they change the venue and get somewhere a little bit bigger and less canteeny, they might be onto something there. I think it was successful enough. I don't know how the sellers got on. If you were there selling, guys, you'll have to let me know and just see from there. But yeah, I think once it got very, very busy and then sort of quietened off a bit, and it was easier to move around. I think they just need more space. They need to sort of think these venues through. Even in the auditorium where it was cooler, it was still incredibly tight. It was like you had sort of 2 lanes of people going in, 2 or 3 lanes of people going in that direction, and it was very difficult to move between one. As I said, you got out of the space, someone filled it. Not the bloody Oscars, but anyway, there we go. But I had a whale of a time, so I hope it's not the last one that they do in Birmingham. I really hope they do some more, because that'd be great to do, and if we can get more people down there, even better. As I said, it is a London one coming up on the 21st, which is a Sunday. So I think it's a strange day to do it. I know a couple of guys are going down to, hopefully going down to that one. I won't. I did mention a couple of people I may possibly go. It's going to be a bridge too far on that one, I'm afraid, at the moment, so I won't be able to do that one. I'm still hopefully getting to Bristol, which I think is in September. because we've got family down that way, so we might, I might be able to, yes, I might be able to angle a way of getting down there, to see if we can do that as well, because I'd love to meet some of the guys from down that part of the world. Obviously Paul, Mr. Bads, is going up for that one as well, because he's got, without further ado, Retro Mike, who lives in that area. It would be great to be able to see if he's going to call that way. You know, that would be great to meet him. Otherwise, there's also, I think, an event coming up in Wednesbury of all places. Why are these places in Warsaw, Wednesbury, Beirut, possibly, Basra? Wednesbury is such a strange place. But there's a winter warmer coming up, which I was talking to Old School about. So that's coming up in November, I think it is. Which would be again a good. It's run by a Revival event, so it's probably a good thing to try and get people to go for that one. We can maybe all try and aim to try and get there for a day or something and just all meet up together, because there's so many people this side of, you know, and we're all from different sort of like levels and what have you. And again, someone's talked to Old School about, you know, we collect on different levels. You know, he used to collect loads, he doesn't collect so much now. I just buy anything that's cheap. You've got, I say, Mr. Bads, who collects on a completely different level to most of us, but what a collection he's got. Yeah, that sort of thing. We all collect differently from each other, so it's always a good way of doing it. Eddie likes skateboard games. Why? I don't know. But anyway, I've gone on enough. That's all I have time for this week. That is it. That's all the pickups this week. It was an excellent weekend. Thoroughly enjoyed going. Great to meet you. As again, Dainster and Liam, Jay Cybersnake7 and his mate Craig, Rob, Stu, Old School, Pete. Absolutely fantastic to bump into you all. It was, yeah. It was a great time to be there, and it made me more annoyed I missed Revival a few weeks ago, but there we go. Right, so if you have enjoyed that, don't forget there is more content on the channel. There will be some more content coming shortly, because I'm going to start reorganising this games room. That's going to be a job and a half, but I'm going to start somewhere. Pick the right week to do it, haven't I? Cricket World Cup semi-finals. Cricket World Cup final, week off work, and I'm going to spend the entire time deconstructing and reconstructing this room, but damn it, it's got to be done. Thanks very much indeed for watching. I will see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.